Another thing you can do in your select list, in addition to specifying columns, is you can specify arithmetic expressions. So our first query here is asking from the sailors table, I want to look for tuples where S name equals Popeye. And for the Popeye tuples, I want to know the age. I want to know the age minus 5, and call that age 1. And I want to know 2 times the age, call that age 2. So in your select list, you can put whatever arithmetic expressions you like. Now, even in the where clause, you can do the same thing. So look at the second query here. From sailors as S1, sailors as S2. So this is our self-join again of sailors with 2 different aliases. I want to find a case where the rating of the first sailor times 2 is the same as the rating of the second sailor minus 1. A little arbitrary, but you see you can do arithmetic anywhere in these expressions that you like, with obviously integer type columns. And in fact, you can use SQL just as a calculator. Here's a query that's perfectly legal. It doesn't have a from clause. And what it's going to do is it's going to return a single row. When there's no from clause, it just returns a single row with all of the expressions in the select list. So it's going to return one column called 3, which is going to contain the log of 1,000. It's going to return a second column called 2, which is going to return e to the log of 2. It's going to return a third column, cosine of 0. And it's going to return a fourth column called sanity, which is going to check that the log of 2 times 3 equals the log of 2 plus the log of 3. Okay, and you should be able to make sense of what the output of this query looks like. It's going to be a single row with 4 columns, 3, 2, 1, and sanity. And you should understand what the values would be in those columns. SQL also supports string functions, particularly string comparison functions in the where clause. So there's 2 different syntaxes in SQL for doing string comparison. The first one is an old-fashioned function called like that's left over from the early days of SQL that has a peculiar syntax. So here we're looking for tuples from the sailors table in this first query, where the S name is like a string b underscore %. And the main things to know about the like clause is underscore is a single character wildcard. So you can have any character there after the b. And % is the repeat pattern. So it says, I want a string that starts with b and has any number of other characters thereafter. The second way to do comparisons, which is probably the recommended way in a modern setting, is to use regular expressions in a standard form that we're familiar with from Unix and other tools and programming languages. So here we have a where clause, and we're asking for s.sname being like, but the like here is a tilde symbol, which stands for regular expression match. And now we have a string which looks like a which looks like a standard regular expression, b dot star dot, again representing a single wildcard character, and star being the repetition pattern. So this again is looking for sailors whose name begins with a b and have any number of characters thereafter.